tour, another amazing two-story set. In fact, I think that the guys across the street were so jealous of this one that they were like, we want our two-story set. But this is the original, and we are really, really proud of this show for a lot of different reasons, but I think probably most notably that this is now going to be, having had its finale with SG1 last Friday, this is now going to be on its own, as its own show, free and clear, and I think that it's, not only does it deserve to do so, I think that these guys have really taken it to that whole another level and moved it away from just the shadow of the SG1. Oh, I'm very loud. And so without further ado, and thank you for not having as many people on the stage this time, I do want to introduce these folks. They really are integral, and I think Joe and Paul really have been phenomenal in terms of taking the show in season 4, as they're working on season 4, into that whole new sphere and combining new characters as well. You're going to have to introduce the dog, because I don't. Yeah, I'm going to have to. But this is one of our exec producers, Joe Malazzi, David Hewlett, one of our actors.
And Mars,
Rachel Luttrell, and, right, it's Luttrell?
Oh, Luttrell, you did it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of name issues. And Paul Mully, another one of our exec producers. And I think that's, without further ado, the way we're going to do this is just open it up to questions and pepper you with questions and go from there.
I'll start with peppering then. So with SG1 heading off the air and you guys carrying the torch now, you've picked up a new cast member. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like working with Amanda Tapping and what she brings to the show?
I love working with Amanda. Amanda has been a wonderful support since we started doing Atlantis, at least for me, as another woman in the industry, and certainly having been on the SG series for as long as she had, and being a part of this cast, it's great. I mean, I'm always for more women on the cast. So it's been great, and yeah, it's been an easy transition. It's kind of seamless.
It was great for me because that's effectively how I started with SG1 and Amanda. Those scenes are really what I think brought me into this whole sort of franchise, and so it's fantastic to have her back from both personally and also as a character. McKay has such a great sort of repartee with the tapping character. So it has definitely changed the feel, hasn't it? It's got a yeah.
Just from a creative standpoint as well, it offers us sort of a wealth of opportunities. She's so multifaceted. She's got the science background, so she can take some of the heat off McKay and his gobbledygook. She's got the military background, so if she needs to head off world, she can head off world with the team. She's also got the leadership background to basically settle in quite nicely as a new commander of the Atlantis expedition.
Well, and more tension as well, which is nice too. The way, Jesus, more tension. Just the way the interaction with the characters and stuff, because we all have such a different kind of our interaction with our
You have to use the mic for the DVD.
Oh, do I?
Or otherwise, everyone else is going to be talking about you.
Oh, I see.
No, actually,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, what you say is true, actually. Whenever you introduce a new character, especially one like Amanda, you're able to explore also different facets of the existing characters, like McKay, and now we're working on her relationship with regard to sort of Shepard, and we did an early season episode called Reunion, where her and Ronan get into it, because of course she's military and by the book, and he clearly is very off book. So, I mean, she brings a lot of that to the show, and of course Jewel State, who will be joining the cast in season 4, brings sort of a whole new take on the in that position as well.
I guess it's my turn. Rachel, I had a chance to talk to Bridget yesterday at dinner, and I mentioned your amazing singing voice.
Oh, thank you.
And I was hoping that we would get to hear more of it in the...
Okay, not now.
Not now.
Right now.
Oh, please, God, not now.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Circle. And seeing you now, I can't help but notice you're in a family way.
What are you talking about?
Are we going to be seeing your characters' fight scenes? Amazing. Bridget mentioned you have a dance background. Is your character going to be modified at all this next season too?
Whirling sticks with a huge belly? No. Well, no, the first part of this season actually was probably the most physical season for me. Really was. A lot of
Thanks, guys.
huge... Yeah, I know. Thank you.
We
I was
to
breaking
front-load
down
all
in the
those,
trailer.
we need to front load all those fight sequences.
Yeah, I completely understand.
We had a story in development that involved Rachel being out in the woods with Jewel, and it was a fairly violent story. We were writing that story when she came in and told us that she was pregnant. And so it was, but I mean, we were too far down the road on that story to pull it back at that point. So we thought, oh well, she doesn't know she's pregnant in this story. In fact, it was the story in which at the end she found out. So, but I mean, we had planned to do a little bit more of a Taylor arc from the beginning before we knew that Rachel was pregnant. So, and then we just kind of worked it in.
Yeah, we just modified the arc we had, and also we wrote the pregnancy into the show, just because we thought after a while.
This was to ensure my character arc.
Yeah.
But yes, no, the first part was definitely very, very physical, and so that didn't stop. Thank you.
My question is for Joe and Paul. Anything you'd like to say to the fans that are a little bit apprehensive about the changes being made in front of the camera and behind the camera?
I always say watch and see. I mean, it's easier said than done, and I know, I'm more than anyone, I'm well aware of sort of some of the negative fan reaction to the changes in the show.
I am, of course, oblivious.
Yeah, he never goes online. But I mean, it's something I've noticed in the past where, for instance, spoilers will get out, and it happens, and fans will always assume the worst. And I'm not saying that when it airs, fans, certain fans, won't be upset, but I think the great majority who have adopted sort of the doom and gloom worst case scenario will probably be pleasantly surprised by what they see. In fact, I'm pretty confident of that.
As far as changes behind the camera goes, there really haven't been any, really. I mean, except for me and Joe taking over. But it's not like we're coming in from outside. We've been working on SG1 since season 4, and we've been working on Atlantis from the beginning. All of our directors and all the other writers are the same. It's the same crew. It's very much, I think, a continuation of we didn't set out to change the show. We figured season 4 would just be hopefully just an evolution, a continuation of what had already been set up. And I think that I don't think the fans will notice any big difference there. The big differences are the characters, the 2 new characters, and when they see them, I think they'll love them.
And I'll just say from the network side that that's very true, that I think these guys they're part of the show from the outset, so it's not like they're going to come in and say, well, we need to change it all up and make it different. But I think they have invested a whole new freshness to it from their perspective. Certainly bringing in Amanda and Jewel has done that as well. So they really, I think, have just provided a new energy to this in a whole new way, because they want to put their own stamp on it, but be very respectful of the franchise itself.
Oh, thanks for coming. Oh.
Is that lunch?
Yeah, I'm just a little curious. Of course, there's been some plot points that have come out, and there's been talk about Paul McGillian returning to the show. I mean, is there any truth to that? Is that an actor we're going to see come back to the show?
Sorry?
Paul McGillian coming back to the show.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and in doing that, is there a fear that death doesn't really have a finality, I guess a finality on the show, that it's not something that's...
No, I mean, not really. One thing I said is, people have often said is no one necessarily stays dead in sci-fi. And, Daniel Jackson dies, ascends, and then a season later descends and takes human form. And it's something you won't see on Grey's Anatomy, which is, kind of nice.